How has the invention of the cell phone changed your life?
Well, let's start with the work life. I started working as a consultant a long time ago. Back then, we leveraged beepers. And this was typically because we'd be working at a client site, so we really didn't have access to our colleagues at the home office. So if we needed to ask a question, we would need to beep each other. So we would beep each other, provide a phone number at which we could be reachable, and then we would call. As you can see, that's quite a time-consuming process. So shortly thereafter, they came out with beepers that you could text with also. This was a great help because now, instead, if you had a quick question, you could send a limited text to your colleague and get a limited response. Obviously, it was better, but not the same as having a cell phone at your disposal all the time. So when they came out with cell phones that one can carry very easily with them, a pocket cell phone, it made life a lot easier. We'd have immediate access to each other. And also, when they came out with the smartphone, you would add to it voice, text, and email. So now you could actually respond to emails through your smartphone. Also, nowadays, it's invaluable. When you're traveling, especially, you could be taking conference calls while you're in a taxi cab going from the airport to the client. I can take individual conference calls at the airport while I'm waiting for the airplane without having to be in one of the clubs, the airline clubs at a stationary phone. So it was definitely a game changer. And from a personal perspective, having a cell phone makes you accessible 24/7. You can, sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. As far as work is concerned, I often find now that in order to be able to stop working, I have to shut my phone off.
So now for the next question. How has the invention of the personal computer affected your work environment?
Well, significantly. When I first started working, again, back in the 80s, we didn't have desktop computers. So typically all of our work products, whether it was a deliverable for a client, a document, some kind of document, maybe it would be some type of presentation, we would have to actually write it out manually on paper and then submit it to a typist or a secretary to have it typed up. And then we'd go through various iterations of corrections. With the advent of the personal computer and it being on the desktop at work, we very soon were able to actually create our own documents using word processing software. This saved a lot of time, so now instead of writing it on paper and then submitting it to be typed, I could actually use the word processor, type it up myself. Saved a lot of time and effort. As far as the computer itself, it's very, very useful in that it gives you access to a ton of software that you would have never had access to so easily.
And now for the final question. Out of these two inventions, which one has made your life easier, and why is that?
They both have. I wouldn't pick one over the other because now they're coming out with smartphones that actually have applications on them. I could bring up Excel files on my smartphone, PowerPoints on my smartphone, and Word documents. And now with the advent of the bigger screen phones, like the Samsung Note, you could actually make edits to those documents. As far as the computer is concerned, personal computer, I have a laptop now, and the laptop goes wherever I go. So I'm always connected, and I'm always able to work no matter where I am, whether I'm in the office, whether I'm at a client site, whether I'm in an airport, whether I'm at home. So as far as I'm concerned, both are invaluable to me.